Hey Heather, I once spoke at a women's event and I was talking about color and style, and we were doing sort of a question and answer time. And this woman said, how can you tell if something works for you? Because really, like, my whole presentation was kind of talking about color theory and talking about this kind of the idea that some things work for some people and don't work for other people, and don't expect that it's gonna work for you just because it works on your friend, and blah blah blah. And a lot of times I prefer the kind of setting where someone can ask a question at any point, and like I like to have a dialogue and I like the back and forth. And at some point, I don't know if it was necessarily the end, but it was at some point a woman had asked a question like, how do you know what really is working for you? Like, how do you know if it works for you or not? And I told her, you have to do what everyone has told you your whole life you shouldn't do, which is compare yourself to other people. And I'm wondering what you think of that. What do you think about comparing yourself to other people? Is there value in that, or is that always to be avoided? I mean, you hear that, especially as women, like growing up, we hear about like, oh, don't compare yourself to other people. And, you tell your kids, like, don't compare yourself to and like, we're constantly telling each other, like, oh, don't compare yourself to other people, especially like, oh my gosh, you look on Facebook and you look on Instagram and all of this, and like, oh, don't compare your everyday life to someone else's highlight reel, and just compare. It's like comparing is bad. And I'm going, wow, like, if Adele never heard anyone else sing, would she have any inclination about the gift that she's been given? Like, would she realize how talented she is? I don't know, right? So I think if we can keep a level head about comparison, and we don't start attaching like all of this value of like, I'm better than you, or he's better than her, or whatever, and it's just like, hey, I'm taller than she is, that's why this is working, or whatever it is. You kind of just can be objective and step out of the situation. Objectivity, I guess, is what it is if you can look at a comparison objectively rather than getting all emotional and attaching all this value and everything, and just say like, okay, like, just objectively, let's compare a triangle and a circle or whatever. But we get so, I mean, we're human, right? And I do this too, but like, we get so like, we attach all this meaning to it and everything else. And if you could just step back and objectify, I think there's a ton of value in comparing yourself to others, so you can understand kind of where you are, how you fit in to the tribe, and what you're good at and what you have to offer. But maybe I'm not seeing this totally clearly, so I really would love your input on that before I start like running around telling everybody that, hey, go compare yourself to other people. But right now, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is like, yeah, do it. If you can keep a level head about it, do it. But I would love to know what you think. Talk to you later.